Hey everyone, Draco Prime 220 here, and today came out a very interesting show, a show that I've been actually curious about since it was announced and its trailers, and that is Spider Noir. Actually, once again, featuring Nicolas Cage as the title character. Now, before I get any further, this will be a spoiler review. And if you enjoy this video, like and subscribe for more. This will be a spoiler review for episodes 1 through 3. And I am going to give my overall opinions about the character, but I want to make something very clear. I've never really looked much into Spider Noir. My only two experiences with the character was with Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions for PS3 and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I found out was voiced by Nicolas Cage. And I heard, and I know a lot of us did, that there was going to be a live-action show planned where Nicolas Cage was going to once again reprise the role in live-action format. We started getting set photos and stuff like that, and then we got the trailers. And what really got me interested on this was how different it is. This ain't your usual Spider-Man show where it takes place in modern day. This takes place like in the 1930s during the events of the Great Depression. In, to be exact, 1930s New York. I am just going to say this, I've only seen first 3 episodes, but I know from the trailers we get Electro, Sandman, I know also we get Tombstone, and also Man-Spider. And I'm kind of nervous about that episode when I do watch it, because I will be honest, I am not a fan of reptilian humanoid monsters or insect humanoid creatures. Thank the original Fly and Cronenberg's The Fly for that. But I'm kind of curious to see the interpretation of Man-Spider, and there are rumors saying that Spider-Man in Brand New Day is going to become Man-Spider, but then there are rumors saying he's not, so I really don't know what to believe. I will say really quick that I view Spider Noir as a very good appetizer leading to the main course. Technically, Spider Noir is the appetizer, the main course is Brand New Day, and I really like it that Spider-Man fans, including myself, are getting a lot of love where Spider-Man is concerned. I've also been playing Spider-Man 2 on the PS5, and I gotta say really quick, rest in peace Tony Todd. Tony Todd was amazing as Venom. But once again, let's get to the review. But like I said, I have not a lot of knowledge of the character. I've only had 2 times where I've actually know the character from the game and the movie Into the Spider-Verse. We actually find out Nicolas Cage, by the way, is Ben Reilly. For some reason, not Peter Parker. It's been 5 years since he stopped being the Spider, and I have to admit, calling him the Spider sounds a little bit more menacing than Spider-Man. We do find out that 5 years ago, the one he loved named Ruby passed away. And from the looks of some of the flashbacks we get glimpses of is that she died in her car drowning, whether it was in a lake or in the river. We don't know for sure. I'll probably find out, because I know some people have binge watched the whole series, but I'm just taking my time with it because I really want to enjoy it. And I do also like the fact that you get to choose between black and white or color. We do find out that Ben Reilly, who's a detective, and his secretary Janet, it's been 5 years since he stopped being the Spider, and he encounters this man named Addison, who is able to, I guess, put himself on fire. I don't know if that's Pyro or Molten Man. I don't know. But he's pretty quickly disposed of, and causes a surprisingly non-threatening explosion. And this leads, and also during this time, Silvermane, the mob boss, has gotten his hold on New York. And some people, and actually surprisingly, Janet and this newsman from the Daily Bugle know who Ben Reilly is. He does want to find out more about this, and he does go to this place called the Clove. The Clove. It's a nightclub, and the star of this very stylish nightclub is Cat Hardy. And if anyone knows or doesn't know, this is the noir version of Felicia Hardy, Black Cat. It actually makes me wonder if, as I watch more of the episodes, if she's going to get into the Black Cat suit. And I do not want no spoilers in the comments, please. And her bodyguard is Flint Marko. And we all know who Flint Marko is. This leads to Ben Reilly kind of trying to... He has negatives and pictures of what has happened. And we do find out that this Addison character tried to burn down Silvermane's home while he was asleep. And ultimately failed. And this does lead to an interesting little scene of Ben Reilly going up to the very top of this construction site where Flint Marko wants the negatives. And he says, this is my job, but I don't like hurting people. Just give me the negatives either way. And Nicolas Cage, he's perfect as Spider Noir, or the Spider. He is absolutely perfect with his quick wit, his charm. He's a smart aleck. He can be very sassy. And I have to say really quick, the actress who plays Cat Hardy is actually very beautiful. Very good singing voice. And I like it how they say that she got her nails sharpened. A little hint of I'm Black Cat. I like that. And it seems that also he's starting to get a bit of a crush on her from the looks of it. And I do like the idea that their conversations are very fast and quippy and somewhat flirtatious. And I like that. That's actually kind of cool. That's kind of like what I could expect from something like this. And, he goes there to talk to her. But we do know throughout the episode that he's been having some kind of problem with his spider sense. Because he keeps, going back to his neck and it kind of gives him, a little headache. So does this mean since he's out of not using his powers for so long, almost like a form of withdrawal, but not in a bad way, but since he hasn't used his powers in 5 years, he's trying to get back into it, and maybe that's why his spider sense is messing up. Or it could be more, or something to the similarities of Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. This leads into what I really am liking about this. They're not afraid to get brutal, grim, or gritty, or even a little touch of horror. Because, of course, Flint Marko picks up Ben Reilly and threatens to drop him, and Ben Reilly, of course, being the smartass, says, I'm not really afraid of heights. He goes, and tosses him, and it seems that Ben Reilly knocks him out. But then we hear him grunting, and and I love this scene. This scene is kind of monstrous, like a Universal monster scene, almost like a guy becoming a werewolf, but instead of becoming a werewolf, he's becoming Sandman. And I like it how you can see him changing. He grabs his face and he's grunting, he starts growling, and the way he attacks Ben Reilly when he's becomes full Sandman, he's very monstrous. Almost the way he goes, grabs him, almost like Frankenstein-esque. But speaking of which, Boris Karloff and the Frankenstein monster is mentioned by Ben Reilly himself. So nice little Universal monster Easter egg there. And what I really like about this is that his webbing is black, from what I could see. It's not your typical white webbing. And that's what I also like about this. The atmosphere, the noir style, the aesthetic, the camera angles, the shots, perspectives, lighting, and I'll get into that in the next episode, in the episode 3. This does lead to Spider-Man temporarily stunning Flint Marko. Cat Hardy shows up and says, leave him alone, don't hurt him. And then he just gives her the negatives. And this does lead to... basically, at this point in the first episode, Ben Riley's in a bit of a slump. He does not want to be part of the fight anymore as the Spider, but that changes in episode 2. And how the first episode ends is that Cat Hardy shows up, and Janet, his secretary, is getting ready to quit, and Cat Hardy comes in and offers Ben Riley a job, because Flint Marko has gone missing. And then that's where the first episode ends. A very good start to this series. Now, the second episode, I have to say, is a lot more better, because actually, we don't have to wait very long until we get to see Nicolas Cage as the Spider. Usually some shows kind of make you wait a little bit, like, for example, Daredevil, Born Again Season 1 made us wait and wait and wait until, like, later on, middle of the season, where he became Daredevil again. Which I didn't mind. I like how they were building anticipation, and I did like it that he was in a bit of an emotional conflict where he didn't want to go back to that again. But here, I do appreciate that they don't take too long in getting him back into the spider form. But the spider costume. Sorry. I actually like what really motivates him is that Silvermane's men are trying to find out what is going on with who sent Addison to do this. And we also, in the second episode, meet Mr. Lincoln. And that is Tombstone. And let me tell you what. It's the news guy who actually goes to this little encampment and meets him there. Because he finds out that Addison is dead. They go to the morgue, and he doesn't even look burnt. And even the guy says, does this look like a guy who was on fire to you? And of course, once again, we do see that Ben Riley is having a problem with his spider sense. And I have to say one thing really quick. The intro song, the intro images look awesome. And I know Electro's in the show. We know this. I can't wait to see Electro, because from what I saw in the trailer, I'm like, that's Electro? It's not the usual, like, interpretation we've seen of him. And, like I said, I have not really read any of the noir comics. I've done a little research about the character, but I don't know a lot. And let me tell you, I don't know who the actor is who plays Lincoln/Tombstone. He is huge. Like, you hear his footsteps and he says, who are you? Why are you here? And I'm like, and he's huge. I'm like, oh, what is this guy eating? Like, I think that really suits the actor they chose for Tombstone. Perfect casting, because his presence, his size. This is a guy you don't want to meet named Tombstone in a dark alleyway. But Janet is intimidated by Silvermane's men, and she's preparing to leave. And this also leads to him having a funny little moment where he's pretending to be a plumber or maintenance or something, and he goes in to the same building where he hid away the spider mask. And I just love these scenes, because he's like, well, to be honest, I'm having a massive identity crisis here. And the guy says, with my toilet? And then he, of course, leaves, and they're saying, I don't think that guy was the maintenance or the janitor. And they see that he went out the window. Silvermane is in his car because he gets note that a booze shipment needs to be inspected. And he's on his way. Lo and behold, the spider makes his grand return, and I have to say, I love this little action scene between Nicolas Cage making smart little comments, and on top of that, really quick, Silvermane's men try to bring him because they want to talk. He wants to talk to him. He breaks the one guy's nose, and then he's in the car and says, I'm sorry about your nose. He says, that's not me, that's the other guy. And he's like, boom, punches him, and I'm like, oh! And then I just love how his spider powers, like, he uses them sometimes. Like, he jumps out of the car, and they stop, they say, get him! And they're like, where'd he go? And we found he's hanging below the bridge. which is a really cool little touch. Also, we do find out that Flint Marko, I will say, I feel really bad for Flint Marko, because there's this scene in the second episode where he's standing on the rooftop because Ben Reilly does go back to Kat Hardy and talks to her some more, and then she's like in her room, and Flint Marko's like watching her from afar on this rooftop, and he looks like he's crying, and he's like partially sand, partially human, and it seems that this is taking a toll on him and Tombstone, because whatever powers they have is killing them. And that's kind of sad, because even if he wanted this life, he's not going to be around very long. And Mr. Lincoln says our biological clocks are ticking faster and faster, just like the doc said. And that's really concerning. And I'm kind of worried because it doesn't seem like Flint Marko or Lincoln are bad guys. Well, I haven't seen the whole series yet, so I don't know how this is going to go for them. Or if they're going to turn full-on villain or be forced into a circumstance where they gotta be bad. I don't know. But I really feel bad for Sam, and more so in episode 3, but I will get to that in a couple minutes. The whole sequence where the spider comes swinging in, and I also love the POV shots in the beginning. Really cool shots. The spider comes swinging in, and he messes up everyone. He's like, he peeks and goes, "Hello," and he's like, and he did this Tai Chi gag earlier in the episode 2, and as he's fighting, and actually he's pretty good with his webs. He like shoots the one web with the at the Tommy gun, makes him shoot the ground, then shoot the other guy, and he's like, "Thank you," and he's like, shoot the pistol, like, but at one point his spider sense does act up again, and like he does this, and then like pulls like I guess a crate and knocks this one guy out, and then does like a chop and goes, "See, Tai Chi," and I'm like, oh my god, and I like how his voice sounds a little different when you see him in the mask, and he confronts Silvermane, says, "You know, I'm doing this for Ben Reilly," because Silvermane says, "Didn't know you started doing hits now. Who, if you don't mind, can you tell me who sent you?" And he's like, don't do hits. This is a favor for Ben Reilly." He's like, "Reilly the Flatfoot?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I don't think you're listening. You've been doing really good since I've been gone, haven't you?" And he's like, "I don't think you're listening. You mess with Reilly or his people, I will kill you." I love that, and I just love... The costume looks spot on from the comics, especially also into the Spider-Verse. It looks like they took it from into the Spider-Verse and brought it into live action. Then he goes back to his office. Janet does come back in episode 3, and we find out that someone called about his booze exchange. And there's been a shootout between cops and Silvermane's men. And he's like, "What the hell did I just start?" And that's where episode 2 ends. Episode 3 has what I think is one of the best non-combat scenes with the spider. And I'll get to that in a minute. But we do have where there's a rat among Silvermane's men. And also, Addison's widow doesn't seem too heartbroken over her late husband's death. So, and she's like, "Give me $1,000 and I will leave town. And I won't say anything." And but then she gets the info that Ben Reilly pretty much knows who the rat is, but before that, he goes to the policeman who got injured, who are in the hospital. And he's like, and it's like a montage of him interrogating people, and he's like, "This ain't fair, see?" And I'm like, oh my god, he's actually doing that. I loved it. Nicolas Cage was as awesome as Ghost Rider. He's awesome as the Spider or Spider-Man Noir. I would have loved to seen his interpretation of Superman. But his Superman gets a cameo in The Flash, but I'm like, damn, that'd been kind of cool if he actually played 3 superheroes. Ghost Rider, Superman, Spider-Man. There is rumors that for Avengers Doomsday, he's going to come back as Ghost Rider. I don't know how true that is, but I'm hoping he does. But, I'm like, and then he actually finds out that, yeah, Cat is the rat. And then he goes and tells Addison's widow, And she's like, if you give me $1,000, or I can go and tell Silvermane himself. And he's like, no, I'll get you your money. And then there's a scene where Flint Marco comes back and Cat Hardy's like, let's get away. I don't care what Silvermane wants. Let us go. Just me and you. Run away together. And he's embracing her, but during this embrace, he's changing into Sandman again. And you could see the shock and that he's scared, and he's like punching the wall, and he's like, this is all an illusion. This is all a dream. Thinking I could have this life, have you, and he walks out. And I felt so bad for Flint. I'm like, can someone give this guy a hug, please? Like, for real. And then I felt sorry for Cat because it seems like Cat really loves him. This also does lead to this little boy getting involved with Ben Reilly, who is kind of being his like little helper and spy, which is really kind of cool because there's like a scene where he's dressed up in Ben Reilly's trench coat and hat, pretending he's drinking and that he never left his office. Meanwhile, he's actually in his Spider-Noir suit, but without the hat, without the coat, and he's going through Silvermane's safe. And every time he hits the safe, his spider sense starts acting up. But I also like the fact that his goggles glow in the dark, and there's a cool scene where he's kind of like looking, making sure Silvermane ain't waking up because the balcony door's open. And there's a scene where you just see his glowing eyes. That is it. You don't see him, just see his glowing eyes. I'll say once again, the camera work, the camera work is just spectacular. The scenes look really good. The frame, everything is just awesome. Just well done. Chef's kiss. We also do have a scene where the cops show up in episode 3 and attack the encampment where all these homeless people are staying. And I'm like, you jerks, they have nowhere to go. What is wrong with you? They even see, the one cop sees the reporter and he's like, I'm a reporter, I'm not part of this. And he's like, who cares? Gets ready to whack him, but thankfully, thanks to Tombstone and Sandman, they kind of spare him an unnecessary beating. And I have to say, I like the more monstrous approach they did with Tombstone, where when he changes, like his skin hardens like stone. You see these little sharp ridges on him and on his head. Makes him more monstrous looking, and they call him monsters. I'm like, these monsters are saving these people. You're the monsters who just started to barge in and whack people. And I'm sorry, I just didn't. That scene really bothered me because, reasons. And he takes the story and he gets some really good photos. I can't remember the newspaperman's name, but he goes to the Daily Bugle, to his publisher, and he makes up this whole bunch of lies, like they were the cause of the problem. And doing through all this, he gets more and more. Ben Reilly gets more information about who the Rat is, and he goes and meets, and he's being tracked by Silvermane's men, and this leads to Ben Reilly going to the train station to confront Cat. Cat is like, I'm done with you all. I'm leaving. My last reason to stay is gone. I'm done. And of course, Silvermane's men catch up and think that Ben Reilly is trying to leave with her, and he's not. And Addison's widow got a little slapped around. Real nice fellas, real men. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic, by the way. And one thing I will say, I don't believe in hitting women. I don't believe in it. They go to this area where there's a hole dug, and I'm like, ooh, this ain't good. And one of the men, they're like, side note, Ben Reilly, as the Spider, took a few dollar bills. And he had this all orchestrated, which shows how smart Ben Reilly is. That he's been at this job for a while, even though he is a superhero, pretty much. And Silvermane's like, my bills are marked, right? You know how I mark them? He's like, yeah. And then he shoots him, and he falls in the hole. Silvermane is like, Ben Reilly, are you good with a shovel? He's like, yeah, why? I'm gonna have need another. And then he has the gun is pointed straight at the camera, and then he shoots, and it goes to black. I'm like, who did he shoot? Well, that'd be pretty stupid if he shot Ben Reilly. Because that'd be stupid, because he's... what? I'm really hoping, please don't let him shoot Cat. Please don't. I don't know, because I didn't watch episode 4. I'll be doing 4 through 6 tomorrow, and probably another review after that. And I'm like, he probably shot Addison's widow, probably. I could be wrong, I do not know, but I will find out tomorrow. I'd have to say these 3 first episodes are really good. I'd say the first 3 episodes are 9 out of 10 for me. Nicolas Cage kills it as the Spider / Ben Reilly. Don't know why he's not Peter Parker. I don't know. But I have to say, this is a really good show so far. And I'll be honest, the reason why I got so curious is because, one, I liked his performance as Spider-Noir in Into the Spider-Verse. And this is something different. This is something new in a way, because we're not focusing on the modern day Spider-Man. We're focusing on a Spider-Man in an alternate universe that is in the 1930s. And I just love how they took a more interesting approach to the villains. I'm really excited to see what happens next. The fight scenes were very brutal for some of them. And once again, awesome cast. I cannot wait to see episode 4 through 6 tomorrow. On a side note, there was some leaked merch of... now, this is still Spider-Man related, but not to Spider-Noir. But there was some leaked merch of Spider-Man fighting Hulk. So we might be getting a potential Spider-Man vs. Hulk in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And because it shows like Hulk and Spider-Man fighting each other, and I'm like, this is going to be interesting. Because in live action, we've never had Spider-Man fighting the Hulk. And I want to see, I'm really interested to see how that fight goes. And according to other rumors, that Savage Hulk will have a pretty large role in this movie. So, if true, that's another plus. So, if you're a Spider-Man fan, give Spider-Noir a check, and I can't wait for Brand New Day. I will be doing a out-of-theater reaction short for that, and that's actually one of my 5 anticipated movies of this year. Spider-Man Brand New Day, Werewolf, Godzilla Minus Zero, Street Fighter, and Avengers Doomsday. Those are my 5 movies right now, currently, that I am very highly anticipated for. So, this is a good year for Spider-Man, both in Noir and in modern times. So, if you're a fan of Nicolas Cage, fan of Spider-Man, give this a look. I don't think you'll be disappointed, but that's my opinion. You are allowed to your own. So, until next time, I am Draco Prime 220, and I will see you all again tomorrow. See you, everyone. Stay safe tonight.